This is website www.mindbodyheartandsoul.org. The title of the document is Organic Robotoids, Clones, and Droids. And apparently it is an audio lecture and published April 3rd, 2021. Organic Robotoids and Clowns. Scrolling down. It's a Dr. Peter Beater. He is talking about, it's a funny name for some reason. He is talking about organic robotoids and clones. I'm simply reading from the document. These beings are not human, but do look like humans. They are likely the people we see walking around today who have replaced those who have already died. I want everybody to just hyperlink that notation of whoever replaced those who have already died, because there's a little backstory to that. They call it certain prominent people have been executed for their part in crimes against humanity, namely child trafficking, pedophilia, or human sacrifice. Now, is that a fact? I cannot confirm. And so they're likely to have been replaced by organic robotoids, clones, and droids. Obviously, I can't confirm who the person depicted as Eminem, and he has several different variations, slight variations of his profile, facial features of his profile. Whether I can confirm whether he was a Satanist in so many terms of the word, I can't completely confirm that or at all. I never met the man that is displayed in this image. These are obviously clones, because I have interacted with this clone at the clone center. He looked mostly like the second image from the upper right one. I mean, it was late 1998, where he actually raped me at the clone center. Whatever, that happens a lot at the clone center, but it the whether the actual man, the actual man having this image that we call Eminem, a rapper, generally doesn't exist, and now he exists in the hearts and minds. In other words, anything you can imagine is real at this point. But for the actual human that looks like this human is not, it doesn't exist. It's a clone. So moving on, scrolling down, it says a robotoid. This is like scrolling down the 6th paragraph. It's talking about how this doctor is describing a little bit more. The following is a short excerpt from a PDF document that Dr. Peter Beater wrote and published. It says a robotoid is alive in the biological sense, but is an artificial life form. Robotoids respond to conventional routine medical tests in the same way as humans do. They eat, they drink, they breathe, they bleed at cut, they get killed. Robotoids can also think, but they think only in the sense that a computer thinks. Computer programming, like any other computer the brain of a robotoid has to be programmed for each assignment it is given. But unlike many electronic computers, the bio-computer brain of a robotoid possesses an enormous memory. As a result, robotoids can be programmed to communicate and think in such complex patterns that they act human. I'm not the technology whiz. So who knows about programming them? I don't know. I'm not a professor. I'm not an electrician. I'm not a physicist. So I can't. I'd love to imagine how it's programmed, but I just can't. What I understand about as far as it being programmed is my consciousness basically embodies this creature, for instance, that we call Eminem the rapper. It embodies any and all of the creatures that we see, along with in the media mostly that we see as celebrities, along with and the other thing was we embody all of our consciousnesses can embody a single clone at the same time. We can all hook up to it at the same time. That's kind of how we made some of the really cool dance moves. I remember learning to walk at the clone center before I learned to walk. For instance, at the in real life, I was I was microchipped as a 3-month-old, so I had to learn to walk. I had to learn to talk through these clones before I was able to talk and function as a in the daytime. Well, anyways, I mean that's just a little bit of history of my experience. It was hard learning it at the clone center. I remember not being steady on my feet when I had to dance like Michael Jackson, but I had the support of my fellow clone attendees, that were also that interfaced with his microchip at the same time. So it eh, as far as creating literature and dialogue and music lyrics, we all supported each other doing that feat. um, it wasn't Donald Marshall alone. It was the five and the six of us, because there was actually 6 of us in total that did that. Media, general and overall media creation, I call Hollywood films and the music label record industry media as well. Okay, so this paragraph is talking about we are closer than ever to merging human brains with the cloud. So cloud is another word for satellite dish in space that our microchip frequency is picked up by a satellite dish and then transmitted to supercomputer, the clone center. There's various and many documents about this as well. And there's a couple of other organic robotoid clone. One, synthetic biology in the brain, a vision of organic robotoids. Some of these are talking in text, future tense, as though the technology had not come out yet. It's been out. Obviously, they released Dolly the sheep in 1997. So get real. But anyways, and they've had the technology for thousands of years. So get real. Anyways, so synthetic biology lies on the interface between life and artificial life. It consists of the assembly of natural biological components into artificially constructed biological systems. The main focus of synthetic biology has been engineering of new gene circuits that can produce artificial cellular functions. They talk in code and science code. Obviously, nobody knows what an organic robotoid means. No one will ever know until someone explains what an organic robot actually is. And I'm telling you now what it is. I propose to scale up this approach to include, and so they get away with it with syntax and vernacular. So, anyways, beyond single cells and gene circuits, also entire multicellular organisms and the brain circuits that regulate their behavior. So, synthetic biology in the brain will offer new ways for understanding how brain connectivity relates to brain function. Could ultimately lead to futuristic technology such as neurally programmed organic robots. Could in the future, yeah, they've had it. This is probably an old article. Where is it from? 2019. There you go. Xenobots, the organic robots that learn to multiply. I mean, that's something else, but it says organic robots. Xenobots are tiny robots. So they're talking about tiny robots. But yeah, I have a tiny robot. I have a tiny computer in my brain. A little bit similar there, talking about tiny robotics. The Organic Robots Lab focuses using organic chemistry of soft material composites. Organic material for new capabilities in robots. That isn't full disclosure we're looking for. Ginkgo Biotics, a young hip and company in Boston, has raised for the promised finding of useful applications. It says building new organisms. Synthetic biologists filter glass, genetically modified beer. It says with the help of nifty robotic equipment. They're trying to promote, robotics generally. Organismal to a new. I'm moving forward onto a new one. www.science.org. Organismal or engineering toward a robotic taxonomic key for devices. Let's see what they're talking about. Using organic material. Engineers are often inspired by behavioral flexibility robots. Seen recent advances in tissue engineering now allow use of organic components in robotic applications. By integrating organic and synthetic components, are moving toward development of engineered organisms whose structural framework, actuation, sensing, and control are partially or completely organic. This is deep soft disclosure. In other words, they're not it's not on its face of the it's not as on its face as what we've got here. Organic robotoids, clones, and droids is just trying to spell it out for you. Soft, this is more hard disclosure that we've reached with again, it's www.mindbodyheartandsoul.org. Now this one's talking about this article is talking about merging the brain with the supercomputer AI system, which is basically how it works with my microchip. My microchip is linked to a supercomputer AI satellite dish that picks up my brainwaves, my day-to-day interactions, my thoughts. They actually have engineers that have figured out how to patternize human behavior based on past behaviors. So they basically study what you do every day while looking at your brain waves. They see your brain waves through your microchip, and they can facilitate a pattern of how you think. And actually they engineered, and I believe this is patented. They engineered a method to interpret what you're going to think before you think it based on your past brainwaves patterns. This article is called "We Are Closer Than Ever to Merging Human Brains with the Cloud." And it goes on. This is article from April 15, 2019. Humanity could be on the verge of unprecedented merging of human biology with advanced technology, fusing our thoughts and knowledge directly with the cloud in real time. This incredible turning point may be just decades away. Okay, so this is a little bit of hard disclosure mixed with soft, because they're saying, they're acting as though it's not here now. The technology has been, it's so been that we're actually turning the tide towards other things. Anyways, moving on. And this incredible turning point may be just decades away. In a new research paper exploring what they call the human brain cloud interface, scientists explain the technological underpinnings of what such a future system might be, and also address the barrier we'll need to address before this sci-fi dream becomes reality. At its core, the brain-cloud interface is likely to be made possible by imminent advances in the field of nanorobotics, proposes the team led by senior author nanotechnology research Friedrich. This is the doctor's name from the Institute of Molecular Manufacturing in California. Intelligent machines with human hair may one day benefit humans and the planet. It says something about the device navigate the human vasculature, cross the human blood-brain barrier, or even within the brain cells. They would then wireless transmit encoded information to and from cloud-based supercomputer network for real-time brain state monitoring and data extraction, basically, is what it is. So far, so Matrix, so Borg. Now, when I asked you earlier that these creatures that we have found their facial profiles and cloned them, such as this clone showing Eminem the rapper. Basically, how we found his prophilic facial image was from photographs from men that have died 100 years ago. It was relevant to look up men that have died 100 years ago for the reason that, well, it's not easy to figure out what your clone is going to look like. So part of our jobs was to think of not only their names, but their profiles, which was their facial images. And the thing about cloning, mass cloning human beings on the planet for use of celebrity to publicate them as celebrities is eventually someone is going to notice that all of their neighbors have been cloned, because there's only so many times you can clone someone and their neighbors before someone notices, why do all of the celebrities look like my family members, right? So instead of cloning literally every single human on the planet and making it famous, we had to look at men that have died 100 years ago. Now, when it refers to So Matrix, I'm bringing up I'm linking these two ideas together, Matrix and men that have died 100 years ago, because yes, Keanu Reeves was one of those men that have died 100 years ago. His name obviously was not Keanu Reeves, but his image was that of the celebrity organic robotoid we know is Keanu Reeves. The other thing that I wanted to bring up that is kind of obvious to me, might escape everyone else. Okay, so right now, nothing about this paragraph is incidental to The Matrix, the film that came out in 1999 starring Keanu Reeves, except for robotics was inferred and displayed in the film. What does that have to do with The Matrix? Well, this is, again, some medium to hard disclosure. Basically, the clone center is in The Matrix. We did not display all of the intricacies of how the Matrix actually works, but obviously we use clone avatars to interface with the Matrix, which is the clone center, also known as the clone center. And you know, the violence of the film kind of depicts the idea that the clones have no human value in a sense, because it was a violent film that depicted a lot of violence, and understandably violence attracts media attention. So it was one of the reasons why apparently it was necessary to show. Obviously it's an easy sell as well. But if anyone wants to further their research. It can be done. Donald Marshall General Pro Boards at donaldmarshallproboards.com, and you can kind of skip around and browse. And this site is the full and utter truth. God help me. Thanks everyone for listening.